a big day tomorrow, and it's 2 a.m. for him right now um, in Germany. So, yeah, feel free to kick us off, Manuel.
Hey guys, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I just posted my updates um in the weekly progress channel. So yeah, thanks for giving me the first try here. Um, I will keep it really simple. Let's see. I will share my screen. Let me see. Can you see my screen?
Yep. We can see it.
Awesome. Yeah, so we worked on the final report for the Git Congruence project. This was, yeah, a major success, I would say. As you can see here, we made like a quick summary of what was achieved. I would say one of the major wins was that we collected a bunch of additional sponsors that support us with the DeSci round, so that we already received like a matching pool fund of 85K US dollar. And then beside that, that we had like a general awareness through different rounds. So not only in the decentralized science round with all the grantees and people who wanted to support the project there, but also beside that with, for example, representations in the climate round, open source software, especially with the activities of ROD. Um, and then suddenly we also made great events, great marketing, co-marketing purposes with companies like SpaceChain. And then, yeah, again, like the sheets and what was done described here. I will guide you through everything like really quickly, so you can also have a look afterwards. But in a nutshell, yeah, I designed a campaign to message like different foundations in Web3, asking them to support us either for building the matching pool for the DeSci round or also for the future DSpace rounds without much success, because first it was a very standard email campaign reaching non-specific decision makers. So this is what we can change here for the next time. And then, yeah, I really did not take enough time um, to focus on this because yeah, we had like a lot of other things to do starting the round and bring the word out of the word. So I will guide you through the other key results here as well. We finalized the round. This was really great. Check it out. The results are all here with the different links to the websites, to the multi-sig and stuff. Um, a contract was not signed between Gitcoin and Moondao because also based on the feedback that Boris gave us, it was too early, from his own words, to start talking about building official partnership out of this. But I think now, um, after the success of the DeSci round, now it can be like a good time to follow up with them again, and also with like the streamlined approach how to onboard them into our partnership network now with Moondao B2B. It's just logical that we can approach them now again in a way better position than before. So so hopefully, yeah, we will get more results here. The follow-up with the grantees was good in a way, because through this we also had some challenges in the design round. For example, the high gas fees. So it was really good to stay in touch with the grantees. I know that Rod did a lot of this also in other rounds, receiving feedback um, about the high gas fees and how they fared overall in the round. Same is what I did. So building campaigns, messaging all of them, and asking to get them into interview. Um, you can also, have a look here. It's also protocol related to the co-marketing purposes with Gitcoin and also with other partners. Check out the general Twitter space here. It was the talk with Boris that you also led, Pablo. This was great. We also had like different other AMAs and co-marketing events, like for example here with Kevin Oboki, the founder of Gitcoin and Green Pill. So this was like a really joint initiative to get them on board, to win them for doing all these events. So yeah, first of all, again, I know Rod is also in contact with him for months now, same as me. I also met Kevin in Denver. And now, yeah, it was just a perfect fit to get, for example, Kevin into talking with us again. And beside that, yeah, we had like great marketing plan where we planned like different Twitter spaces, different AMAs with different partners that are involved in different ecosystems. Uh, and so first of all, it was like the I would say standard Twitter spaces that we did with DeSci World. The DeSci Cornerstone event was a huge success. Then we had our DSpace events, um, educating the folks about DSpace and applications for DeSci, and also building like a platform where DeSci grantees can share their experiences. And then beside that, there was also Gitcoin Radio, where Rod and I were involved, representing also MoonDAO. um, yeah, and beside that, you can have a look here on the social media strategy. There, we really, really basically laid out how we want to approach all of this. We had a referral campaign. Lucas led it. It was also great. Maybe Lucas, you can also share about this in a second. And then related to concrete partnerships, you can also see in here like the different ecosystems that, for example, we engage directly via DMs, via reminders that we organize events, via getting them into interviews and talking with them. And here you can see like the refi, space, and DeSci ecosystems on Twitter, and then especially like the grantees that we had in the DeSci round. And they are all tagged based on different stages. First of all, it's awareness. So what does this mean? This means that we approach them once, so a minimum of one DM. Evaluation is that okay, we figured out if it makes sense to partner up to get them into interview, or there was some form of response from their perspective. And then engagement was okay, we had a conversation, we had a chat, we got them into interviews, and now we know okay what they are up to and they know what we are up to. And closing's like okay, we are pretty clear about what we can do together, how to move forward, and yeah, what's in our interest. So yeah, and here you can see like the different statuses um, of the grantees, the DeSci ecosystem, the DSpace projects that we identified, and the refi ecosystem here. Um, Yeah, and then there was the key resort connecting with the Gitcoin operations team. This is still ongoing because, yeah, Boris and we're still involved in the operations guild of Gitcoin, talking about implementing the grant stack, uh, either for, more and more and more people want to build grants on their own, or also advocating for DeSci overall. So yeah, that's still work in progress here. Um, we also want to leverage like the Gitcoin partner network. Here's like a very, very close overview. a brief overview about the partners that we can engage via Gitcoin. So this just makes really sense if we have, for example, the official partnership with Gitcoin now after the success of the DeSci round. And beside that, yeah, again, Rod and I know also Lucas and I, we are really engaged on Twitter, doing Twitter spaces, talking with the operations team, and not losing contact. So this is also important. And now I think we come to the, for me personally, the most interesting part, because as you can see here, we literally laid out the foundation for using the grant stack also for future rounds. So if we, build more great projects in DeSci and continue engaging with different space projects in the Web3 context, we can also onboard them for future grant rounds. So even though this was not possible by now because we had like too short time period and too much things to do to market the round properly, um, there's still immense potential to onboard different partners and sponsors for future rounds with the focus, for example, not on decentralized science or open science, but maybe open hardware and decentralized space so that we attract more projects that utilize Web3 tools for the space industry. Um, this is what I'm really excited about. And then yeah, again, like building more bridges to the DeSci ecosystem. You can track all the results here. Um, because in the best case, we can onboard via Moondao B2B all the different DeSci tool providers that we see right now to convince them that they actually open up their tools, for example, for our community to use them. And this makes sense, especially in the space guild, especially when it comes to our plans and also some of the projects that we are working on related to open innovation. So everything related to grants or prizes or hackathons makes sense to talk with more DeSci projects about this as well. Yeah, for activating the DSpace round, there was obviously like no success because again, we had no money to distribute via the Gitcoin Grants platform. But we already sent out an LOI to, I it was like we are all in this in this DSpace group, and there are people like Lunagistics or Copernic Space or also Space Rockstar or Space Chain that we had into interviews and Twitter spaces that are really open to this idea of making an ecosystem round. I was also in touch with Filecoin back then, who said like, okay, we want to support this, but we have like no budget available for grants or externally funding by end of the year. So hopefully we can continue working on this by end of the year. Um, yeah, and then there was this key resort with further contact incorporate with grantees. So same game. We already followed up. I already identified some of the opportunities where we can partner up. Same goes with Rod, and now we just need to utilize on this potential partnerships, get them into a certain proposal onboarding flow, um, and then make official partnerships out of this. So I would say that's it in a nutshell. Check it out. If you scroll down a little bit, you can also see the personal contributions here in the format. Yeah, I need to accept some of the changes, but it's fine. I will do it in a second. Um, yeah, guys, and I would say that's it. The only thing that we need to do is like finishing the coordinate. So I think we will do this by tomorrow. And then yeah, adjusting some minor changes here. But yeah, I would say that's it, guys. Any questions from your side? Lucas, Pablo,
Yeah, hey
Barak,
guys,
Mitch,
just to add that even though we didn't finish the coordinate yet and the treasury comparison isn't complete, the link to the treasury is down there on the table, and the link to the coordinate is also on the document if you wanted to check it out.
Awesome. I don't know if we're gonna have time to do questions for each of the projects because there's 10 of them. But yeah, I do want to say yeah, it's totally okay if Coordinape hasn't been fully finished. Just make sure that it's done by the time that we're putting these up on Snapshot. So yeah, in the next couple days, get that all finished. But yeah, awesome work, great stuff, very thorough. Yeah, awesome.
Cool. Yeah, okay. I just wanted to add, yeah, I'm open for questions. So if you want to know more um, about the project, just message me or Lucas or Rod or anyone else who was involved. Yeah, I think this was again a large success because we we made us a name. People know about Moondao because they know that we are funding actually space science, because in the cohort of the DeSci projects of the DeSci grantees, you can imagine there were like 10% with a focus on hardware. So IoT and connecting devices also via blockchain, for example, or things like that. And like a very small fraction out of these projects had an actual space focus. Um, but yeah, I had a lot of fun. It was very very stressful weeks and months, but we made it. We made it. I can look back and I can say, okay, we had some difficulties on a technical level when it comes to implementing the round and stuff, but I'm very very satisfied with all the resources and opportunities that we created out of this. So um, yeah, definitely check out the reports, and most importantly, definitely check out the personal contributions, because in the end it was a team effort here. So yeah, also thank you very much to everyone who was involved and made this possible. Thanks, guys.
Awesome. Thanks, Manuel. Cool. So let me see. I guess we can just go in order of what's posted there. So the next one is Yan Visa project. So I can jump in and share my screen on this one. Uh, uh, uh. Okay. By the way, I've created I'll share this spreadsheet, but similar to how we organize the Q1 incentives, I've I've just started to kind of do that with the Q2 ones. But yeah, okay. I'll try to be short and sweet since we do have a lot of these to go through. So yeah, this was the project basically to support Yan's visa. So I know that this is just two paragraphs on this, but it really doesn't capture. I don't want to be too verbose, but yet it's yeah, it was months of coordinating with immigration attorneys, coordinating with Blue Origin, collecting letters of support from other organizations, um, writing letters of support for Yan, training Yan for potential interview questions, and yeah, basically just coordinating all of those different sets of people throughout the process. Um, a lot of it really was just working with immigration attorneys and yeah, walking Yan through each of the steps. And yeah, we compiled a pretty long report. So um, I've shared two links here. One of them has some personal information for Yan and myself. So it is restricted access, but I'm happy to share this with any of the Rocketeers. So If you guys want to read through it, just let me know and I'll share it with your email. I just wanted to respect Jan's privacy, and I think me and my brother also have a few other things in there that are a bit like just phone numbers and addresses, stuff like that. So also in this talk here, you can read the narrative, basically like month by month. This is a bit more detailed, what we did, each step of the process. I compiled this actually for the we actually worked with 2 separate immigration attorneys for the second try after we got rejected. We were put in contact with a new group, and so to help onboard them, I started putting this together. But that 4th try got cut short due to Blue Origin just saying that we should move on to someone else. So yeah, I think that this is a pretty public-facing project. So and a lot of people have been kept up to date with what was going on. So I won't go into too much detail, but yeah, definitely I would click on these 2 docs if you want to learn more about all of the work that went into this project. But yeah, I don't want to spend too much time on each project because we just have so many. But yeah, I mean, just to like say one more thought on this. Yeah, Jan, in our last meeting with him, I mean, he was really sad about sort of this decision to move on to a different candidate, and yeah, he was saying that he spent some of his own money on travel, and we've asked him to kind of compile those expenses so we can reimburse him. But also, there's a year-long process of working with us with Moondao, and we can't really compensate him for all of that time that he spent with us. So yeah, like reflecting on that a little bit, I personally have decided that any compensation coming from this project for me, like personally, I'm just gonna send that over to Jan as a just thank you for being with us, and a couple other. I haven't had so much of a chance to coordinate with Barney and Lartiz on this project. Lartiz is traveling, and yeah, so I think they might be considering something like that too. But yeah, just wanted to state that. Yeah, I mean, I just feel like it's so sad what happened to Jan, and if we can support him a little bit like that, that'd be great. So yeah, that's basically it on this project. I would ask for questions, but I think if we did questions for every single one of these projects, we'd probably be in here like 3 hours. So unfortunately, yeah, I think we should just keep moving forward. This is all being recorded too, so we can go in and review stuff a little bit more later. Yeah. So I don't mean to like awkwardly move over to the next project. Maybe I will like. Are there any thoughts or anything that might have been missed there on the Anvisa project, and anything that people want to ask about very briefly? Okay. Okay. I will segue directly into the next project on the agenda, which is the MeDAO. So this is another kind of relatively public-facing, long process. So yeah, I wrote a little bit about sort of the journey with the legal incorporation for MeDAO. It's definitely taken longer than I think anyone expected here, but there's a lot of hidden complexity. So in this legal incorporation, it kind of involved the coordination of the entire DAO with the operating agreement, and I think that we did pretty well in sort of constructing an operating agreement where all governance decisions for the DAO is held within the Moondao governance, and MeDAO is kind of just a very light wrapper on that. And we also had a legal review of our constitution, our project system, our operating agreement, in sort of like becoming a Marshall Islands DAO, and that was also relatively long and complex. And then yeah, we then voted to accept this operating agreement and the updates to the constitution, but then as we were going in to submit the final paperwork, MeDAO had a change in requirements on their end, so we actually had to then go back in, update the operating agreement, update the constitution, and then send over a second proposal to the DAO. So that was that added an extra few weeks to the process. But yeah, all of the legal paperwork has been submitted. It was submitted about 2 months ago. So all the certificates, the KYC that was involved on my end, the FIBL, which is another document that is required by the Marshall Islands government. Yeah, so that was submitted about 2 months ago. We're still waiting for the final stamp of approval. And I've gotten word from Adam at MeDAO that we should be getting that, in the next week. So I've basically decided to submit this proposal, basically assuming that all of the paperwork is accepted, which I think will be accepted. But if for whatever reason it isn't, then I'll just pull this out of the incentives, and yeah, we'll just extend it over to the next quarter because there'll probably be more work and sort of updating that the paperwork that we sent them. I imagine it'll be accepted though, so yeah. I've included a bit of the information here, so all of the the final operating agreement, the proposals that we voted on, the learnings. This project was between me and Fabian, but Fabian, he's actually presenting his second case to the Supreme Court, and so he's gotten very busy, and he's also doing his MBA in space, like tech space, like yeah. So he's doing amazing things, but he did kind of have to bow out of this of the project, and that also kind of resulted in a little bit of a slowdown in sort of like the handoff on some of this work. So yeah, I'm still trying to get a hold of him to figure out the distribution between Flavian and myself. I told him that we could just do 50-50, but I just want to get his last thumbs up there. So hopefully we'll get that resolved in the next 2 days. But yeah, there's no treasury here. There's just a one-time transaction to pay for the legal incorporation of the MeDAO. And then the budget also allocated. So every year from now on, we'll have to pay $5,000 to the Marshall Islands government in order to maintain our status. And there's also some maintenance required in moving all of the assets from the Macau entities over into the MeDAO. But that should be relatively simple. It's just a governance issue that needs to be done on the MeDAO end. So yeah, that's it for this project. Yeah, a lot of legal stuff between this and the Yan immigration project. But yeah, I guess very briefly, are there any thoughts or questions about this? Like I said, if we don't get the we should be getting the response on the final approval of the MeDAO soon, and if it doesn't happen, then we'll just pull and it'll go to the next quarter. So yeah. All right. So I don't think. Yeah, I'll take that silence as no questions. All right. Next one on the agenda. Sorry, I'm kind of hogging the mic here. But I'll try to be brief on this one too. This is a social media project final report. So this was a project basically. I'd say that the major
It's me or we lost Pablo?
No, we
Oh,
lost
okay.
Pablo.
Thank God. I mean, not really, but
They finally stopped talking. Joking. Yeah, I wonder if he knows we can't hear him yet.
shoot. I'm sorry, guys. I think I disconnected there for a second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now, or I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Sorry about that.
And he's gone again.
if he doesn't come back in a minute or so, should we move on to the next project? Since this will be, this is recorded.
Yeah, probably.
Agree. We move to next project, which you hear on stage. Then when he back, maybe we can continue with his.
Yeah, I think the next one on the list would be the stewardship Q2 proposal project. Sorry, Michi is presenting that, right?
Yep, just give me one sec here. Let me get my mouse working. Oh, wait, we have Pablo back.
Yeah, we have two Pablos now.
I don't know what happened there.
We were just about to go on without you.
Okay. Yeah. I'm really sorry. I think it's just my internet every now and then just cuts out. Sorry. I will. Yeah. I'll wrap this up real fast. I'll also let Ryan share thoughts here too. 'Cause this project is the two of us. But yeah, we included some metrics and basically on the social media growth between Twitter and LinkedIn. Also a little bit on YouTube and Instagram. What we've really pretty much noticed is that it's really difficult to get an idea of what real growth looks like on our socials because yeah, back in December, when we did a token listing, we received, you know, a bunch of bot accounts, and I think those are kind of slowly being swept up by Discord. So yeah, on any given month, it's like our growth versus like bots that are being removed is sort of being like equalized. So there probably has been some growth, but it's very difficult to get good statistics on that. But yeah, yeah, with LinkedIn, we had a very ambitious goal of getting 5,000 people within the quarter. Right now, we're at 534 followers in total, which is a 30% growth rate in one quarter, which is pretty decent. But yeah, I think that we could definitely do a lot more in sort of like cross posting or boosting our socials between, you know, basically leveraging what we have built across Twitter with, yeah, onto other socials. Yeah, another key result here was on guild onboarding, but we didn't have great metrics on this. I think maybe in the stewardship proposal we'll see better metrics on this. So we'll fill this in as we get more info. But yeah, I think it was hard to figure out what is the number of guild onboarding requests that we had before this project, because we didn't really have so much of a guild onboarding form kind of built out. But thanks to Michi, that it's a lot more streamlined now. So yeah, I think that the metrics on this just aren't super clear. And then the second objective on this was basically to give access to social media to projects, and yeah, that was done. We created the LastPass, and we shared it with Lucas, who's leading socials with 0G, and with Ari, who's helping out with, I think, LifeShip and some 0G stuff as well. So yeah, yeah. Ryan, I don't know if there's anything else that you want to add on this.
Uh, Guys, just a quick note about LinkedIn. I do not know when it happens, but with the Lunko, I can invite my connections to follow Lunko account, and it's super. Conversion is huge. So if you can share with me, or if you can invite your connections, it would be useful for LinkedIn. I was shocked how effective is it. Sorry for interruption. Yeah, let's do it later.
Awesome. I also want to share too, this is recent, but part of this proposal also had budget allocated to basically use a platform for like teams to draft social posts, and so we got a Typefully subscription for teams. So the major benefit of this is that projects can basically write their social posts whenever, queue them up, and then they can, you know, get a final sort of like quick review to make sure everything's straight, and then they can be posted. So yeah, that'll be very helpful as well. Yeah, I'd like to be reimbursed. It's kind of expensive. It's like $450 for the year. But yeah, and there is going to be maintenance involved with this too. I mean, ideally, we can get, the executive branch proposal passed, or one of these, to have someone that is just consistently posting on all of our socials and generating content and sharing updates about Moondown, what's going on, and just kind of driving a lot of that on our socials. Yeah, because we like, it's not like socials just ends with this project. This project is really just trying to set up a framework for sharing passwords and getting projects to be able to update on socials directly. But it didn't really do so much in terms of like hiring someone that could drive our social strategy, which I think is something that we should really look into. But yeah. Cool. I think that's you guys don't have to listen to me anymore. I think I've gotten all of the projects that I'm presenting on out of the way. The next one on the agenda is stewardship Q2. So I'll hand it over, I guess, to you, Michi. Yeah.
Cool. One sec here. I'll share my screen. Everyone coming here?
Yep.
Cool. So yeah, again, I'll try to be short as well. This is a very long document though. So I'm going to just try and hit the main beats. I think really the most important information. Oh, and by the way, actually, this presentation right now is mostly for Ryan because it will be him, Manuel, and Ari who are the ones essentially voting on this. Everyone else on the Senate is on this proposal. It's literally 70% of us are on it.
But I think that I thought that the rule was you can't vote on projects that you are stewarding, not necessarily that you're on.
Oh, is it?
But I can be mistaken. I need to check.
I thought it was any project that you're getting paid through. Okay, well, anyway, Pablo, I'll let you maybe clarify on that in a bit. For now, I'll just continue.
Yeah. I'd have to look at the sorry. I'd have to look at the language that we mentioned. I think, yeah. Sorry, I'll look a little bit more deeply into that, and yeah, we can figure out what makes sense there. Yeah.
Okay. So this is an approximation of the amount of money that I think that we've saved per year. It's basically just a calculation of the totals carried forward from the Space Dev and Community Guild charters. So this wouldn't include a hypothetical growth guild, which was expected to be pretty big as well. And yeah, I basically just noted that this was an important cultural pivot point for us. I think it was a big move and probably a smart one. So yeah, I'll get into the results here. Just like Pablo was saying earlier, we found that calculating growth is skewed a lot basically by bots coming in. We were using a benchmark of 15%, which was already probably pretty ambitious even under normal circumstances. However, we know that creating growth in the environment that we've had in the last 3 months has been a challenge. I think that maybe a better goal might have been to simply maintain the level of equality and retention that we had before. But we did see at least a 1.7% increase in the number of our communicated average, which is basically just a number of people who've come in and said something in a voice channel or left at least 3 messages. And the open channels is actually down by nearly 4%. But again, that number is probably skewed pretty heavily by the number of bots coming in. We had a goal of 10% increase for the number of people where we retain, which means that they continue to engage with the server the following week after they join. That's actually up by 2%. So again, I think that the fact that we had any type of increase here is probably a really good sign. 10% is probably pretty ambitious. So I'm actually pretty happy that we're seeing a positive result here. So in terms of the onboarding, this is where I spent most of my time with this proposal, just working a lot on Discord. There's a link to the update, but I think we all saw it. Just a big update dump of things we changed. It broke down a lot of barriers, but in the as a consequence of breaking down so many barriers, we also had to really up our moderation, because the whole server guide setup that Discord has now, they basically, in order for you to even use that, you have to have at least 7 open channels that are open to anyone when they join the server. And so, yeah, it's just obviously opens up an attack vector if people want to spam us with bots. And that, I mean, that's happened. That's always been happening, but now it's even more important that we have better moderation. We've been using Discord, Me6 and Dino and Discord's native features to do that. In terms of the onboarding meetings, these have been kind of touch and go. I've been showing up to them consistently now for the past few just to make sure that there's someone there. Most of the people who we have show up at these, like who actually engage at these meetings, are people who just show up. They don't really, not a lot of people are scheduling in advance for them. And I did miss one meeting. There was 1 week when we didn't do it. Since I made the call, I think over a month ago, to just show up to all of them, regardless of whether anyone was scheduled. In terms of cultivating discussion, I think that a lot of credit here really needs to go to Rod. I think he's done incredible work with, the AMAs, especially Gitcoin and Giveth and Praise, and just generally being on Twitter and representing Moondao more externally. I think that internally, we could probably have a lot of better metrics for determining what engagement really means. And I don't know, I think there's just a lot of room for improvement here, at least in terms of the guilds, and for creating more engaging discussion. In terms of the organizational infrastructure, a lot of this is on Colin, and he's done a really great job at that as well, of just making sure everything's working. He's always been very responsive when there's bugs or anything like that. And in fact, we haven't just maintained our infrastructure, but we've made significant progress towards streamlining and reducing the amount of maintenance that will be required going forward. And yeah, every guild, senate, and town hall was attended by at least one guild member. We didn't do so great on note taking. I think that we really need to be taking advantage of newer technologies with LLMs and everything to just get more consistent, regular notes coming out from our meetings. And that's something that I have made some personal, I've done a lot of research and development into design of automated systems for this type of thing. And hopefully I'll have something to show for that in the form of a proposal coming up. So those are the overviews. I just want to quickly jump through the member contributions, because I think there's some things worth noting that aren't necessarily within these key objectives. I think Bollock here, one of the big things that Bollock has done, I think, is the CN Bridge proposal. That's just a really big, I think that's really important. And having Ming and Makan and Damian joining the team now, I think that's wonderful. That's really good stuff. I want to highlight as well for Colin. Yeah, the stuff here, basically the stuff he's been doing in terms of like the maintenance of the website, smart contracts, everything. He's such a broad general knowledge and put it to very good use. The Moondao, like him leading the Moondao app and app expansion project and dashboard project. Our dev guild is very small, but they're very committed, and I think that Colin just does a really great job at, bringing them all together and coordinating with everyone, listening to everyone, helping troubleshoot things. I also think that even Luffy, I wanted to highlight some of his contributions here as well. The Twitter verified organizations and the Treasury diversification proposal, even though this didn't pass yet through Snapshot, still very important. I think it's still it's just super important work that someone actually does that, and so I'd like to give credit to Luffy for that, and also just for helping being the delegate and set up different projects as well. And I wanted to highlight for Rod. Well, for me, it was mostly I'll highlight for me just the Discord onboarding changes were probably my big contribution. The Moondao B2B project represents a lot of the commitments that I made in terms of our technical and operational structure as well. And I put in some graphics here where you can see engagement in the general channel by Rocketeer. So this is all the Rocketeers included, and I've highlighted the stewards. Just I thought it was a pretty revealing metric because it shows basically a lot of the people who've been on the front lines of conflict for a few months now. Lucas especially has been helping out a lot with that, and he we added him on this proposal as well because he did a lot of work with basically cleaning up spam accounts and blocking spam accounts. And Rod, again, I just want to highlight the stuff he's done with the different AMAs. I think that's wonderful. The things like basically just putting Moondao on the map. He's done a really great job at that. And yeah, getting in touch with David Chom as well. And the other thing that I really wanted to highlight was Lucas's contributions here as well. You can see and 290 different accounts. Here's some of his metric. I just realized, Lucas, you must have added this in because I totally forgot to add this in. Sorry about that. We have a link here to the doc where you can see all of the accounts that he banned, and this is all messages from this is all data from his personal metrics from Discord. So this is his DM related activity. The original proposal said that Colin and I would have our MVP subtracted, but that wasn't considering that the total MVPs would be deducted from the total rewards. And so I just put a note about that here. I don't think that really is relevant anymore. It wouldn't be fair to subtract our MVPs twice. So yeah, that won't be considered anymore within the distribution. So yeah, that's basically that one. And yeah, I'll make some room because I know not necessarily for questions, but for just additional input, because I know so many of us are on this proposal and I skimmed over it real quick. So if there's something I left out and you really want to highlight it, then yeah, you can do that. I'll open the floor.
I just have one comment about meeting notes. Highly support automated solutions because it's really hard to participate in the call and take notes at the same time. So
Yeah.
either you take notes or participate in the call.
Yeah, I mentioned that in here as well for me, and also in the microblog proposal, that it's what I was doing originally when I was taking notes more actively. I was just recording the meetings and then like listening to them afterwards, and that way I could fully engage in the meeting and then parse through it. But I just couldn't keep doing that after a certain amount of time because it literally like doubled my meeting times, which was already too much. Right. So it wasn't feasible to keep doing it that way. But I do have some stuff in the works. I'm pretty confident we can get a much better system in place. Yeah, if that's it, I can move on to I think the blog is the next one. So I'm still talking. Yeah, so with the blog, it was done. It looks beautiful. But it didn't really have the impact that I'd hoped for. I mean, it could still have that impact, but it's probably going to be much slower. I think I was a little too optimistic in how quickly we'd be able to see results. And also, again, how much I expected with this project that I would be able to take the time I was spending doing notes and instead spend that time writing content for the blog about, like, in the similar thread of the notes from our guild meetings. However, like I just mentioned, didn't quite work out that way because I just did not have the time to even write the notes. So yeah, we basically, there was also just, working on lots of things, not necessarily getting paid for this. So it's hard to prioritize it. And there was development delays in the technical development, which basically meant that the site went live just as Ryan's newsletter project, which we intended to really facilitate with this blog, right as that content ended, the blog went live. And so there was nothing immediately to post on it, and I didn't have the time for content. However, we did find some purpose for it in highlighting some of the milestones from Zero G. I'll just open it up here for anyone who hasn't seen. 1 second, I have so many things open. So it's down here near the bottom of the page right now. We have a Moondown News section, and you can click here to see all posts, or you can click directly on a post. And I think that this post in particular is a really good example of what the blog is capable of doing. So you can see it's got a call to action to join the Zero G, to actually like go to the landing page and buy a ticket. I've got an example here of the trivia where you can answer, keep scrolling. And with the featured news, you can see we've highlighted each of the contest winners. Ellie has her own post here. We've got Anastasia and Justin as well, and each one of them have, links to their social channels. And these posts can be individually shared as well. Let's say you just wanted to share about Justin winning this raffle on Facebook, then you can do that. And yeah, maybe I don't want to sign into Facebook, but you get the point. So basically, the main learning here was that even using ChatGPT as a tool, content development still has high overhead costs with prompt injection and research and editing and publishing. And so, yeah, LLMs are really the future here. We need to make good use of them, and we need to do it in a way that integrates humans for creating meaningful content. We don't want to just produce more of the same and just let the AI, produce more of the same and degrade the quality of the internet overall. We need humans in the loop. And so I'm working right now on a pipeline that will make better use of the blog. And I'm starting with snapshot process. I want to totally automate snapshot so that basically all you do is post a link to the proposal and then posting to snapshot, posting to the blog, posting to like an announcement on Discord and potentially on Twitter, those things would all happen automatically and over a period of time, throughout the governance process, basically. So it's mostly me on this proposal in terms of the contributions. Ryan's, it's through no fault of his own. It's just we didn't quite get to that point in the process where we could integrate with the newsletter before, the newsletter finished. So we weren't able to get to some of his OKRs. And yeah, that's basically it for the microblog. Yeah. I just want to say as well, I think that I forgot to mention this. I think that the microblog, even though right now it's starting really slow, it'll be a really great tool, a really great asset for the Moondao B2B initiative, and for us to highlight some of these partners that we'll be connecting with. I think that there's just still a ton of potential in it, especially in light of its potential for automated content. And yeah, the next on the agenda is the Dev Guild Charter, which I will let Colin go through. Oh, sorry. Yeah, good point. Thank you. Yeah, and our website is totally primed for SEO, so we're golden on that front. I just want to say, I just saw a message. Colin is not in the room right now. No, he's not. I guess I can present the Dev Guild Charter. Sorry, you guys have to keep listening to me. One second here.
Wait, while you're transitioning over to the next project, Mitch, I just want to say, the microblog is really beautiful and well done, and I think that we should probably run or if you could do like a workshop, with us, and then we can get different projects to like put updates there and make little articles, stuff like that. I think that would really go a long way in sort of like sharing what we're working on. Yeah.
I was also just thinking about creating just a much simpler interface where people can just submit content to me and I'll publish it for them. I don't mind doing that. But I could also definitely create a outline of how to do it. It's not that hard, but I do have like a pretty heavily integrated different set of like post types. You can see, I actually didn't show this, but this is a outline of what the different post types essentially, or collections as Webflow calls them, what they look like, and how they're all connected to each other. It was actually pretty cool. I had an AI do this. I just fed it all the information about our Webflow and then was like, show me what it all looks like, and it's spot on. So pretty cool. This might look like a lot, but it's really not that much. I can show anyone how to do it. And maybe if anyone's interested and wants to be posting there more regularly, then hit me up for sure, and I'll get you set up and trained and everything. So yeah, with the Dev Guild proposal, I just want to say 100%, like most of the credit here goes to Colin. I had a lot of commitments and things that I wrote personally on this proposal that didn't pan out, simply because when we wrote this, we were really thinking about guilds in a totally different light. We were thinking about them like as working groups and really the arbiters of projects and what work gets done and funded, and that's not how it ended up working. And yeah, Colin has been really consistent and reliable, and probably one of the hardest and fastest working people I know. Yeah, so I'll just quickly run through the objectives here. In terms of creating and maintaining a pool of developers, we literally had like 5 different members submit the form. This was the old form, and I think we've had only a few, like 3 legitimate submissions to the new form since then. So there hasn't been that many to onboard. We have, though, had some interesting people join our Dev Guild meetings. They haven't, not all of them have stuck around for that long, but we've had some interesting conversations with people. Recently, we spoke with some people from Development DAO or Developer DAO. I think it's Developer DAO. And yeah, it's just, I think that the developers who are right now in the Development Guild are consistent and committed, even if the group is small. Onboarding talented members. So yeah, we basically learned that we need a lot more focus on outreach. I think that with the potential for like hackathon events and everything that's coming up with Lucas's contributions, that we'll see a big surge in interest in Development Guild at that point. Once, I think we need to have like for the Space Guild, where it's hard to get people to stick around because we don't have any interesting projects to put them on. It's kind of the same problem in the Development Guild. We need just something, you need to have something to keep them busy once they come in, or something to get them at least started with. Basically automations. Yeah, I guess I didn't, Colin wrote this, so this is, I'll have to still present it for him, but yeah, basically he's saying that many of the tools geared towards assisting communities, there are many tools geared towards assisting communities, but not too many that are specific to the DAO and decentralization. So that was just a product of his research on identifying the tools and techniques that we want to implement. But I think that there is also some automation involved in the projects, like the app expansion project as well. That's going to be involved there. Identify or incept development or automation-oriented proposals. So I think we were pretty successful on this. Colin has put in a lot of proposals. Guardian, the Snap Signal. It's not necessarily automation-oriented, but again, the app expansion project as well. And yeah, this as well, the digital asset marketplace, which is a huge win, I think, for Moondao. There's, potential to build the treasury with it, which is big. And yeah, it looks beautiful as well. I'm happy with it. As a designer, from a design perspective, it's user friendly, and yeah, I'm excited. I kind of want to create some NFTs for it. In terms of maintaining current infrastructure, this has been great. Colin's done a great job. There is, with the website, I've addressed a few issues with the website. I got to most of them pretty much immediately, except for with the current change to Google Analytics. They require a new setup, and honestly, it's way more confusing than before. I don't know why they're making it so confusing, but I have not got that fully implemented yet. So right now, I don't think the website has analytics at the moment, but I'm going to get on that very soon as I can get that figured out. Create ticketing mechanism. So actually, I will we kind of merged the ticketing system with the support form, and that's worked out well so far. But I think that there was some, like, Colin had implemented a ticketing system before that, and he was basically responding to most of those submissions. And yeah, I'm pretty sure he did a good job. I looked at those, and they were all resolved. I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head, but yeah, and we've resolved all but one of the new onboarding support form tickets, and the one that wasn't resolved was more of a recommendation than a real problem. So, and it's something that we'll do. We just haven't done it yet. Yeah, review, organize, and assign tickets. So again, bugs were minimal. Yeah, Colin handled most of this. Again, he did a really good job. And ensuring code and documentation are up to date. I think, yeah, a lot of these things, like in this stuff that Colin does really well. He's been a huge support on anything that requires technical assistance. And yeah, reviewing incoming pull requests, which I don't think we had that many. Yeah, updates to the dashboard, pushed by Ariel. Also, I've been talking a lot about Colin. Ariel, or Raccoon, as I call him, he's been also a big help with the DAO. He's been doing a lot of work just upfront, and mostly, like, you know, he just wants to help. He's been a really valuable asset for us, I believe. Development of best practices and style guides. Yeah, Colin designed this official Dev Guild assessment. I can go through it, but it probably makes a lot more sense to developers. It basically just allows them to understand, you know, to get a real sense of what it is that developers understand when they're joining the guild, and if they're going to be a good asset for any of our projects. This we didn't really do that great of it. Like, we okay. Yeah, basically, I would say, like, what I expected us to do here, we didn't really get done. And the stuff that we had, kind of the thing that I wanted to build on with this, which is the 101.xyz project, that just got rugged on us. So we didn't really get that far with this. This one was on me, and again, this is one of the ones where was based on a false assumption, and again, based on a false assumption for these two as well. I did try to make a standard protocol for Dev Guild meetings, but again, it kind of got confused as we were really defining, like, what the purpose, or yeah, what we were really going to do with guild meetings. And implementation of improvements and changes. So yeah, I think this is again another big win on Colin and Ariel. They've addressed issues submitted on GitHub and Discord, made minor adjustments to styling and formatting. I mean, it says minor, but it was actually pretty big, in my opinion. It made a huge difference in just the feel and navigability of the website. Yeah, so unfortunately, for Laertes' contributions, we didn't have much luck. I mean, I reached out to him, but I don't think he had the time, or, you know, like he did do some work helping to organize the payments and everything early on, but again, it was mostly on Colin. Colin really stepped up and took the lead on this. You can go through again his. Well, I won't go through all these. It's kind of a repeat of what's above because so much of this was on his shoulders. And yeah, I won't need to go through mine as well, but I just want to mention Ariel's aesthetics here. His contributions here in terms of aesthetics. He did a lot to clean up the mission control dashboard with a vertical navigation menu that just makes a huge difference. We still have to finish plugging this in, although I think we do have that. I'll put this in tonight because we do have the percentages now. And yeah, that's it. Sorry, you guys had to listen to me for so long. Oh, and we have Colin here now. Colin, is there anything you want to add about the Dev Guild charter?
Hey, what's up, guys? Sorry, I don't have the best signal where I'm at. No, yeah, I went over the Dev Guild report and everything that's on there should be good to go. So, yeah.
Cool. And that means next is IRL merch. So we'll hand it over to Lucas.
Okay, I will try to be brief because I kind of already presented this, but there were some changes, some updates, some twerking, a lot of unexpected work to this proposal. So I think it's good to represent it. I tried to do something different. In the beginning of the report, I tried to kind of do a one-page report, mainly for the whole DAO to understand what's going on without needing to read all the proposal. So in a nutshell, this was a project to attend a few conferences, sell merch. They're attached to NFTs, and also try to make connections that could help Ian get his visa. And actually help Moondao members in general to get US visas. So a couple of the main challenges you can see there was a lot of hustle here. The transactions from the treasury took some time to go through, and we had some problems with third-party suppliers and service providers to print the merch. We also had some problem with OpenSea. They had a promotion where they were operating with a 0% fee, and then they came back with the fee for Polygon in the middle of the project. And Brazil also lost a little bit of diplomatic force within those last couple of months because of an agreement with the CN government. In total, it was almost 500 hours put into this project. I attended 8 in real life conferences. I spoke at 3 actually. I did 2 TV interviews, one for CNN Brazil, another one for Deutsche Welle. There is a huge media conglomerate in Germany. I sold more than 300 pieces of merch. 80K in revenue, basically, from what 2,300 were from additional shipping fees. The NFT collection had 14 ETH in total volume in secondary sales. A portion of that was from market making, and we had 0.4 ETH in royalties. So in general, we went back and forth a little bit. We have a few returns. And then we have the unexpected expenses with shipping and taxes and a lot of different things along the way. But at the end, we still make some profits. So it was basically 0.0345 ETH in revenue for the treasury, even though some money came out of it. And with zero, we basically did not spend any of the DAI budgets on this. So I kind of did this separation in outperformed, neutral, and unperformed key results, more to try to give it this nutshell perspective about the project. But yeah, I presented that 18 real life events. You can check the links that lead to this folder over here, where you can find all the pictures where I'm indexed. And right here on the report at the end of it, you can also check the pictures with my my profile picture. And I had 4 meetings at U.S. embassies and with U.S. representatives at different embassies, basically U.S., China, Germany, and France, try to cut some deal that could help Ian or could help any of us to get visas. And didn't have a good response, but in the short term, but they said that in the long term, they're willing to collaborate with Mundo. It's just not a great timing right now. I also did dedicated presentations, so this bring awareness was also fulfilled. We deployed 5 Polygon NFTs. The original intent was to deploy 3, but I was in more conferences. You can see. Also check out the landing page that was built for this project, with all the links for OpenSea and a little bit explaining how all of this work, how you can claim your merch, even if you buy the NFTs in the secondary market. So I designed here, I put a neutron because it was just basically the delivery. And here it was one of the biggest hustles on this project because I couldn't fulfill the original printing scheduled on the original proposal. So I kind of bounced around to different suppliers and different services, and we end up having to ship the merch to people across the globe, basically. And it was hard. We sold a lot. We generated a few secondary sales. I was expecting a lot more, and that's why I gave this an underperformed score. But 14 ETH is still pretty reasonable, for an NFT project that's did basically zero marketing across 4 secondary sales. I also presented Zero-G in live ship missions, even though I didn't have a high conversion rate on this. I also left here a financial table. In this link, you can find basically all the receipts for the expenses that I did. Some of them are still uncovered. Ideally, all of them would look like this, where my personal information is covered in a tape, and you can only find the info from the business that issued it, and all the values here with the taxes and everything. But I'm happy to give access to any Rocketeers that would like to check that out. We had a lot of different suppliers here. The biggest impact here was with the domestic shipping and international shipping. It was more than $2,000. So if we didn't have to, ship those, we would definitely have, a pretty decent revenue into that, and also a shorter timeline. So I put here a kind of a timeline of the whole project. I also was invited to speak at NFT Brazil, and they basically paid my travel expenses. So we also sold 1 additional NFT there in a live auction. Down here there's a treasury transparency, and for last but not least, the market making transparency report, where you add all the transactions, for the artificial volume on the collection. I think that was it. If you have any questions, please reach out to me on my DMs. And let me check who's the next one. I think the next project is the newsletter. So I would like to hand over to Ryan.
Well, Colin, your mic is absolutely terrible again.
Okay, give me a second. I think we'll have to have a little more.
Colin, your mic sounds like it's been dubstep remixed. It
Yeah.
legitimately scared me. I was like, what the hell?
It's like comically poor quality.
Yeah. It's like his voice was deep fried. Well, yeah, that was a nice little wake up. Jolted back in. Yeah. I guess yeah, we're Colin's just joining back in a sec. Maybe we can oh wait, actually we already did I guess yeah, this is the last one, right? Marketplace?
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. We actually did pretty well on time. I thought this was
Yeah.
gonna be like a 3-hour long meeting.
We did remarkably well, actually.
Yeah, we went pretty fast.
All right, I think we got Colin back.
I'm back.
There we go. Much better.
Better?
Yeah. Here, I'll stop sharing my screen unless if you want me to share. Oh. Colin, do you want me to share my screen or do you want to jump in? Shoot. Can you hear us, Colin? I think he said before that his connection was kind of bad. Unless if can you guys hear me? Did I get rugged?
No, I can
I can hear you.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, I guess while Colin gets his mic situation figured out, maybe I can I can just go to the marketplace here so you guys can see it because I think it kind of speaks for itself a bit. Market.moondao.com. We haven't published anything on socials yet publicly, but if you guys haven't checked this out, I mean, it's really just, yeah, I think it looks beautiful. Oh, whoa. I hadn't seen this one yet. This looks like something out of the Dune.
Okay, I'm on my phone now. Yeah, laptop's not working.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, if you got the report on
Cool.
there, then
Yeah, I was just showing people the marketplace itself because I feel like yeah, this really just speaks for itself. It's so beautiful. But okay, yeah, here I will. But yeah, I can share my screen if that works. Yeah.
yeah, that's cool.
All right.
Yeah, I guess it should be pretty straightforward since we have a site you can look at. So that's it's a good display of all our results. Okay, I'll just start with the first one. Above this, you'll see links. The GitHub repo, I might have to change the link in there. I think it might still be attached to my GitHub, but I moved that repo to the official Moondao repo. So if you go to the GitHub page there, you'll see it. Okay, so objective one was development. the first key result was deploy Mooney and vMooney on Sepolio. We did that initially because Go Early was really expensive, and then later on we switched back to Go Early just because the third web support is a little better. They don't have their NFT API working with Sepolia, so you have to manually enter all the contract addresses. So yeah, we got it deployed on Go Early and Sepolia now. Also Mumbai, we did testing later on for layer 2. So yeah. Learnings, yeah, the third web NFT API isn't supported by all of the test nets that you can deploy to. So I thought that was kind of interesting, even though you can still do certain things. The NFT API might not be supported. Yeah, if anybody wants to use Mooney on Sepolia, or no, I guess not Mumbai, you'd have to bridge. But yeah, on Sepolia, I can just send you Mooney to test with. Number or key result B, deploy marketplace on Sepolia. Same thing there. We deployed it on Sepolia, Go Early, and Mumbai. Yeah, and then the learnings there are kind of the same. Yeah, the marketplace worked great on all test nets. Didn't really find any differences there, so that was nice. Key result C, create a front end. This was kind of a mix between front end and back end code, I would say. I had to do some R&D on like the smart contract and kind of mess with it in the third web dashboard, as well as just figure out how the front end code will look. I forked an example from third web. Somebody over there had created a simple like marketplace setup for a single collection. We added quite a bit to that, so it should look pretty different from where we started from. I added like Moondao to the license and everything, so we're good to go there as far as using their code. Yeah, forking was a great way to start the project. I think it helped us finish a little quicker. We did all of this in around 2 months, so I think yeah, that's pretty good for the results that we got. Yeah, I think it worked out. Yeah, so there's going to be some maintenance. The other two, or the other three, there's not really two. There's not much maintenance for these. This one, there's going to be some updates, some things we can make better. We'll just kind of polish the front end over time. And then D, create an exclusive section. I created this. We didn't implement it. I was using the Blockade Labs API to generate skyboxes. It's pretty cool. It works well, but they started to charge for the API while we were working on this project. Initially, I got a key I could use and generate free skyboxes. But yeah, now they have like paid tiers and stuff. So I might make another proposal for this in the future, or kind of tie it with another featured collection we list. So yeah, it's ready to go, but we didn't implement it, so that's why I have this score of 0.5 here. Yeah, learnings, having a higher discretionary budget would have been helpful. Yeah, I think for bigger things like making a marketplace, we should probably outline a little more. Yeah, there's really no maintenance for this besides just actually implementing it. And then, yeah, I guess we're on objective 2, design. Create a UI UX design. Brian handled that. He wrote all this in. So, yeah, he did a great job. making the design and doing all that. If you click the link at the top that says Figma, you can see exactly the work that he did. Yeah, really no maintenance there. Pretty straightforward. He just made a UI that looks great. The whole team kind of reviewed the designs, so key result B. Yeah, we pretty much just had a meeting. We just kind of did it during our weekly meeting. Just looked at the designs fine created. We kind of did that a couple times. It wasn't just one time, I guess. But yeah, we just kind of provided fine feedback, and me and Lucas Ariel worked with him a lot just to refine the pages. Yeah, no maintenance there. Key result C, design and create Moondao featured collection. I had Fine on there. I was hoping he'd help me out. He didn't have any time. So just me on that one. And then yeah, I just used ControlNet v1.1, which is a model on Hugging Face. Yeah, just basically used the Moondao logo and created a bunch of generated art and then kind of curated those generations. Probably made like 50 to 100 in total, and then chose 29. Yeah, I deployed a ERC 721 contract on ThirdWeb. Right now, the marketplace multisig is the only admin on there. I'm going to add the L2 treasury, the Moondao treasury, and then any Mooney we get from these listings will be sent to the treasury. I guess the way we implemented the featured collection is a little different. Initially, we wanted to do an auction every 24 hours. We kind of thought that with the way we were releasing it, it might be better to do direct listings just so we can keep some NFTs on the site and just fill in the space. And then objective 3, implement design. That was, yeah, I would say that was 100% Lucas Art, Crypto Ariel. He just changed he got a new Discord name with the update, so he's going by Crypto Ariel now. Yeah, he basically just took the design and wrote a bunch of front end code, mostly Tailwind. He helped a lot with refactoring. The initial example had a bunch of CSS and separate CSS files, so he got rid of all that and converted it to Tailwind. So it's really easy to work with the repository now, which is nice. Yeah, really no maintenance there. He's just gonna keep making it better as we work on the marketplace. So yeah. Yeah, I think those guys did an amazing job. I think it's been really nice. The aesthetic credit goes all to Lucas and Ryan. Objective 4, testing. Yeah, so me and Lucas went in and sold some NFTs, bought some NFTs, just tested really everything. I kind of did the detailed testing going into the profile, and yeah, just really ensuring everything works. I did some slow 3G testing too, just to make sure those that have slow internet connection, they can still use it. And Pablo kind of tested that for us too. He was able to buy something on testnet at the airport, which I thought was kind of cool. Yeah. Learnings. few days, yeah, so a few days before testing, I mined 0.32 Gorilla ETH. That really helped out because at the time, while like for a couple days while we were running a bunch of tests, the price of the Gorilla fees went way up. So having that extra Gorilla really helped. I probably would have had to just wait a few days if I didn't do that. Yeah, so I just want to keep that in mind in the future. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for that. Key result B, revise marketplace front end if necessary. We found a few minor bugs with the front end while testing. We just went in and fixed those. We even made some more improvements. Yeah, just to improve the user experience and all that. Objective 5, deploy. Pablo made a really good go-to-market strategy. So we have some great ideas to look at for next quarter. Yeah, and really push the marketing on that. Pablo, I don't know if you have anything on this. I threw Ryan in here. I was hoping he'd make some marketing materials. Never got those. I know LucasArt helped out with trying to line up some artists, and then also helping out with the transactions and just actually getting the marketplace deployed.
Yeah, I guess all I'd share on this is that you know it's just words, and yeah, we'll need to be implemented, but mostly just thinking through like how to open up access to it over time to avoid weirdness, and then also just thinking out different use cases, and trying to find people that would like to do those use cases. A big one here too is that Don Davis, who he's kind of one of those retro futurists like O'Neill cylinder creators. He this was a long kind of conversation that I was having with Don Davis DAO, but they finally got the thumbs up from Don Davis himself to do an auction with Mooney for one of his unreleased artworks. So I think that would be really, really, really special. So yeah.
Sweet. Okay, it looks like key result B. I was editing that and did not add it back in. Yeah, we ended up deploying on L2 instead of L1. Initially, I think I had something in there for mainnet. We didn't end up doing mainnet. We're on Polygon. So that one, yeah, just deploying the contract on mainnet and then like assigning permissions to the feature collection. And yeah, there's going to be some maintenance on that, just making sure we're updating the approved asset list, and then yeah, just updating the split contract once the treasury is reimbursed. I'll put that in right after this. Yeah, sorry about that, guys. Key result C. We got cleanup code. So me and Lucas, yeah, really took time to refactor the code base and make it easy to use and update. So yeah, bringing devs on in the future should be pretty easy, and adding anything should be pretty easy. Yeah, learning is just abstracting components, converting the CSS to Tailwind gave us more freedom to build and customize. Oh man, I got another one I didn't add. Create a README file. That one's pretty straightforward. I made documentation. If you go to the repo on GitHub, you'll see a pretty long README file. It'll even explain how the marketplace works. So like how the buying works, how the selling works. Yeah, we should probably add a link on this slide. Yeah, learnings on that. I would just say it makes it a lot easier to explain the project to people. Yeah, I think it's easier to point to that README file rather than try to explain the whole repo or anything like that. Maintenance is just updating the file as we make updates to the code base. Pretty straightforward. I'll just keep adding to it. Create a subdomain. Pablo, I think he just went on Google and made some adjustments there so we can have a market.moondao.com domain, and then I added that to that reply. So, all right, key result app, deploy site on Netlify. That's pretty straightforward. I configured the domain and then the environment variables. I even added the Discord invite in the footer on the website as a environment variable. So hopefully, well, that invite won't get scraped from GitHub or off the website. Yeah, learnings from this one, starting the project in the Moondao organization on GitHub is probably the way to go. I started it my own. I think initially I started the repo before I even made the proposal. So that's kind of why I did that. But yeah, I think it'd help to just transfer it when the project starts. Yeah, there's going to be a little bit of maintenance, just making sure the environment variables are up to date. Sometimes keys change. Yeah, just. I wanted to add a link to the Moondao app. I didn't end up doing that. We're starting the app expansion project, and I think we'll just, yeah, while we're working on that, I could add it, or we'll just add it while we're consolidating everything. Key result H, list Moondao featured collection. So yeah, we listed the featured collection on the marketplace. So yeah, one's just gonna list every day. I forget when it ends. I think it's the. So we started on the 3rd. I think it's through the 24th or the 25th. I'll have to check. I have like a whole sheet. I have it mapped out. But yeah, pretty cool. Learnings from that, L2 transactions are really cheap. I've worked with Polygon a little in the past, but never really I've never really ran a bunch of transactions. And yeah, the difference between developing on mainnet and developing on Polygon are a huge difference. So yeah, it was nice. Maintenance, yeah, just managing the collection. There really shouldn't be too much. Just going to be sending the Mooney from the listings to the treasury, and then just making sure those listings get sold. So yeah, I mean, they're going through 20, 30, so they have quite a bit of time before they need to be relisted. Yeah, that's pretty much it for the objectives. I don't know if we're getting into like the team member contributions.
No. Yeah.
Cool. Yeah, does anybody have any questions for me or the final report?
I just want to briefly say that yeah, we haven't announced this on socials yet. We're just kind of waiting for a couple last things to get through, and then I think also with final reports. Yeah, but when we announce it, yeah, I think if you guys can retweet and support it, I really think that we're this has a this marketplace has a huge potential. It's one of the first real solid use cases of Mooney outside of governance, and yeah, I think that it's a really cool way of engaging the community and then getting the community to use the token more outside of governance. So yeah, I think it'll be really cool. We just need to kind of get people aware of it and get people excited. I mean, I think the shields turned out beautiful, and I'm definitely going to be scooping up a few of those. So yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks.
Awesome. Well, I think we made it all the way through. Nice work, guys. I know that these reports are, I mean, I told this to a few other people that these reports kind of do kill my soul a little bit, and I think we want to minimize the amount of any bureaucracy and paperwork should be strictly necessary, and I feel like there are ways that we could make this process a little less painful that we should think about. Very open to hear people's suggestions. I think, yeah, especially in writing both the OKRs and then the team member contributions, there's kind of a lot of redundancy there. And there's probably a more efficient format for it. I think also, yeah, I'm all ears for ways that you guys think that we can make this process a little less painful, more straightforward, and just easier. Because yeah, I think it can take kind of a long time, but I mean, I also just I think this is a very useful visibility exercise to just see everything that's going on inside of the DAO, and a snapshot of all of the projects, and yeah, we owe it to each other to read each of the proposals in depth and then come up with a really thoughtful distribution between each of the projects. Lucas mentioned that, so we haven't passed anything inside of the project system about how we're distributing points to each of the projects with this new kind of people shouldn't be voting for their own projects, and there's sort of that open question of does that apply to Rocketeers and Moon Settlers or just Rocketeers? I think maybe we should just vote on it right now in this call. What do you guys think about that? Just kind of.
You mean that the distribution for different projects, right? Just directly on the call. Pablo? Oh, it's my problem. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah. Yeah, I think Pablo meant to just vote if Rocketeers and Moon Settlers would not be able to vote for themselves or for the projects that are not. But yeah. Yeah, I could defend both. I mean, I do see the conflicts of interest and Moon Settlers voting on projects that they are involved. But at the same time, we're just, we're not a lot of people in the Senate. And by the end of the day, a few projects would end up being voted by only two Senate members. And this kind of centralizes things. I don't know. I also see that, by the coordinates that I saw till now, the most impact on those distributions are for Rocketeers. So that would be, kind of a why should not be a problem for moon settlers to vote. Where I can also defend the other side in a way that, hey, it's a conflict of interest. I'm voting for a project that I'm involved in. I receive compensation for that. So yeah, for me it's a tricky one. I don't even know what I would be voting for. What do you guys think?
If I think Pablo might be trying to talk, but we can't hear him.
Oh, really?
But I don't quite understand what the thing we're voting on is if moon settlers should be allowed to vote on Snapshot on projects that they're receiving compensation on.
No, if they are allowed to vote on the quarterly distributions.
I can hear you now. Yeah.
So should we just have a vote? And that's it.
Oh, I think that Lucas, maybe you can't hear Pablo speaking. I can hear him though.
Okay, yeah, it's my problem then. I will just drop off and get back to.
Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
I can hear you.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry about the technical difficulties. But yeah, I guess to be clear, the issue is that whether or not we think that moon settlers that are receiving compensation on a project should be able to allocate towards that project. Like we've already decided that Rocketeers should not be able to do that, but I think the same logic applies also to moon settlers. And yeah, it does have the issue of sort of the stewardship proposal only having, I think, 3 people that vote on it. But yeah, I think the opposite of that is that we're introducing the same misaligned incentive. And even though it's maybe to a slightly smaller degree, it's still the same issue in that, we're basically asking people to be saints. And I think it's clear that this does not work. So and the worst part is that people that are unscrupulous about it, they can high five themselves the hardest, and yeah, it hurts people that are maybe a little bit more shy about doing that sort of thing. So yeah.
Yeah.
I think there's 3. I think there's 3 Pablo can vote on.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was pretty worried about Pablo's situation as well because every coordinate that I saw, Pablo was there. So um, I don't know how to proceed with it, but I do see the problem. I just think that we're trying to kind of solve the problem, creating another one. So we should maybe meditate of in or about what problem's bigger,
Well, one thing that we could potentially do, I mean, we could analyze the results with and without that rule applied and see if there's any, because with sort of the low sample size, I guess there could be some very weird things that happen potentially. But I do feel a bit weird about like running the results and then deciding. Although maybe that might be a way to mitigate fears that they're like just having like 2 or 3 people decide the fate of a project. Yeah. And yeah, for sure. I think I'd be pretty much out of like I wouldn't be able to vote on any of the projects pretty much, except for
I feel really weird about deciding later on. I think it's worse. Also the math gets pretty complicated. The less people vote on a project, the more complicated the math remains, because we have to redistribute those votes across all the projects. And let's say I have I will vote for 2 projects and Ryan will vote for 5 projects, and then the percentages would be pretty messed up around that. But yeah, I don't know. How are you planning to deal with that variation in the number of voters?
Yeah. I mean, I could definitely see an argument either way. That's why I think we should vote on it. And then hopefully, we can rely on the collective intelligence here of the group. I'm like personally, I'm kind of on the fence, to be honest, between the two. Like there's definitely there are pros and cons on both sides. But yeah, in terms of like calculating the amounts with like some people missing on the project, it's not so bad. It's kind of like a it's like a bunch of equations. I mean, maybe it probably sounds more complicated than it is, but you just don't include that person, and then like what all the other people voted on for that project becomes that like percent, and then it's easier showed in a spreadsheet than verbally, but it's all doable. Is basically what I want to say. there is a little bit of math involved, but it's like baby math. It's not. It's just divide and average. Yeah. So we should be able to like it isn't that complex. That's all I want to say.
We also, I think it was last quarter when we faced the some of abuse among distributions. We thought a pattern of deviation, a minimum that you're allowed to give to a project and a maximum that you're allowed to allocate to another project. Getting the hang of the moon settlers that could have some perverse incentive. But yeah, we never really got to a conclusion on that, and I thought it was a really interesting solution.
That one was actually really complex to implement.
Yeah, I know.
So that I think the Rocketeers not voting for their own projects period is in my opinion like just the simplest way. But yeah. I mean, what do you guys think? Because we do need to figure this out like now, because we should be
Basically
able
now,
to do the
yeah.
distribution. So should we do a quick vote on it? Yay, nay on whether moon settlers should be able to vote on their own projects or not?
I mean, I would love to hear the opinion of someone that is less on the fence than us, but I'm not sure if there is.
Yeah, I think that's a good
Good
question.
question.
I would say, yeah, like the same logic would apply to all cases. Just anyone receiving money on a project, they shouldn't be able to rate the project's impact. So there's the conflict of interest. Albeit a lot less, but still the same idea. Yeah. Yeah. I and I guess another okay, this might be one way of looking at it that could resolve the issue is that
Yeah.
if someone is a Rocketeer, then they're on the project where they are a Rocketeer, they're likely to have a higher percentage than on a project where they're a Moonsettler or just receiving, some amount of payment. So their incentive really is to maximize the amount of money that goes to the project where they're receiving the highest proportion, which would be the project where they're a Rocketeer. And then otherwise, their selfish incentive would be to maximize the second project where they're receiving the most percentage, I guess, by that logic. So yeah, I mean, I think at the end of the day, to some degree, we have to kind of trust that we're all, acting in a fair way. And I mean, yeah, the people that have tried to exploit the system in the past, I think it has backfired on them really hard. There's been people go, "Oh man, that's kind of sad. I can't trust you now.
Yeah.
You know, there's that old quote that's like, I'm not sad that you lied, or I'm not sad that you cheated. I'm sad that I can't trust you anymore, kind of thing. And so it is all public at the end of the day. But yeah. Anyways,
Yeah, maybe a way of framing it should be, hey, you can't vote in the project that you receive in the project that you have the most rewards coming in. As yeah, even though I mean, yeah, it doesn't even make sense because if people are voting here in the Senate, they are Rocketeer. It's something. So yeah. Okay then.
all right.
I
Well,
guess-
I guess we've got 6 people here. Should we just do a quick yay, nay?
I don't know. I think I kind of feel like with Ryan that there's probably a middle ground. And I don't want to I know we need to make a decision pretty quickly. Yeah, tough.
Yeah, maybe we should focus on the definition of a moon settler. Originally, a moon settler is someone that was originally, that was on the proposal when it was submitted. But yeah, you can also become a moon settler in between. So yeah, this logic doesn't apply. Sorry.
Yeah. No, I think that what we're getting at is someone who is a Rocketeer and a Moon Settler,
Yeah.
which we have a lot of. Yeah, I mean, I think. Does anyone else have any thoughts that they want to share? I think we should just take it to a vote. You know, any other?
Yeah, maybe just open a quick poll somewhere.
Yeah, here I'll post in Senate vote, just in like not even a poll, but we can just thumbs up, thumbs down. Sure.